Okay, so this is coffee roast. I've got an 8-ounce charge of some Guatemalan coffee beans in my Jean Cafe roaster. And so we're going to start with a 15-minute roast. See what we can do here. I've already got it charged, already have it set up. All I have to do is start it. So we're just going to come over here and push it. I've got the cover open so we can see the beans real good. So this is going to be 15 minutes. So hopefully you'll be able to see the different phases of the roast. Probably will not let this go the entire 15 minutes on the video because that would be quite a long video. So I'll stop it here in just a minute and let you see the various phases that the coffee beans go through on its way to a nice medium to dark roast. Okay, so the temperature is already up to 359 degrees. I've got it set to 465. Initially a 15-minute roast. With the Jean Cafe, which is a hybrid of a fluid bed and a drum roaster. The Jean Cafe is very much temperature and sight. You're probably not going to hear first and second crack in this machine unless you get your ear right down to the machine. So it's quite a manual process. You have to look at the beans, and also you have to cut the drum roaster off a little bit ahead of time because it will continue to roast the beans even during the initial parts of the cooling phase. So we haven't yet entered the yellowing phase. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Okay, so the beans are in the yellowing phase, beginning stages of the yellowing phase. We'll be going into the browning phase soon. Temperature is up to 422 degrees. I would expect for the beans to go into first crack somewhere around 450 to 453 degrees, and then after first crack, from first crack to second crack can happen within 30 seconds to a minute, and be ready to turn the machine off. Let's get a little bit closer. We'll let you see the action. Okay, so the beans have exited yellowing, starting to brown. We're at 453 degrees, so I would expect first crack to start happening just any time. However, you will not hear the first crack in this particular roaster. The off-axis drum rotation on the Jean Cafe ensures a nice even roast. You always want your coffee beans to be in rotation. You want the beans tumbling and turning, otherwise you'll get an uneven roast and some of your beans may scorch. Okay, so the beans have entered first crack at 455 degrees. So at first crack, your coffee beans are cracking, releasing the pressure that has built up inside the bean from the water content, which is evaporating, causing pressure inside the bean. And they crack and release the pressure. A coffee roast is not going to be worth anything if you don't at least enter first crack. That's going to be the stage of a light roast. So once the coffee beans exit first crack and start to enter second crack, you're safe to turn your beans off. There's a good bit of smoke. I don't know if you can see it. Had to turn the overhead vent fan on. All right. So I extended the roast time for about 1:30 seconds because I like my beans to be roasted a little darker than medium. We're about to enter the cooling phase of the coffee. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the beans will roast a little darker during the cooling phase. So you want to cut this off a little early. We are now in the cooling phase. I don't know if you can see the smoke that is coming out of the Jean Cafe. So you do have to, if you're roasting inside, you do have to have it under a fan or a vent, because you are cooking a food product and it will smoke. Alright, so beans are still cooling. We're down to 203 degrees. So with the Jean Cafe coffee roaster, the beans will continue to cool to about 140 degrees, which is well below cooking temperature. And as you can see, the beans have continued to cook just a little bit. So we are right about the color that I like for my beans. So this right here I would say is a full city plus roast. Not quite into a French roast. Okay, so the beans have finished roasting, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed here, which probably will not be too easy. I'm going to pull the beans out of the roaster, and we're going to pour the beans into the strainer here to continue cooling. Get all the beans out. And there you have it. A nice roast of my Guatemalan coffee. Hope you enjoyed the video. And this is the way you roast beans.